Hey everybody, welcome to this Board Game Life episode number 60, the big 60. I know that's some kind of anniversary. I have no idea which. But we're not here to talk about anniversaries. We're talking about board games, tabletop games, any kind of games that we feel like talking actually. But mainly board games. I am one of your fine hosts for today. My name is Rob, and with me as always, I got my good buddy Mark.
Hey everybody, how you doing? How's it going?
Am I part of everybody? Are you asking me how it's going?
You are the most important. Then it's everybody else.
Oh, okay. Well, what? Our listeners aren't good enough for you? Can't they be number one? We got to put them in number two?
Okay, you're a number two.
No, what? Let's
Listeners
see.
and then Rob.
I'm putting up a new ad on her searching for a new host. Anyway, so I don't think I mentioned the title, When to Purge. I just said episode number 60 and I got distracted by actually what is that? I'm going to look it up. 60th anniversary. Thanks, Google. I can buy streamers happy 60th anniversaries. I want to know what the thing is. You know, it's like every anniversary is like some kind of
Oh, like
stone or
paper.
something.
Paper, diamond, gold,
Yeah.
platinum,
Yeah,
titanium.
Google just wants to sell me stuff.
Of course.
Oh, it's the diamond. 60th anniversary traditional gift is the diamond. The diamond. Are there other colors of diamond? I wouldn't know. Not like I have very many diamonds. Instead of diamonds, I have board games, which is more precious, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So tell me, dude, what have you been playing?
Okay. Well, I did play some dice cards. Um, and I got in a game of Tapple. I got some more Seven Wonders Architects.
Hmm.
Broke out one of your favorites, Azul. I
Oh,
hadn't
old standby.
haven't played that in a long time, and it's like I was like, oh, let's play this, and it's like, why have I not played this in so long? It was like so good. Um, Played Power Grid. Um, got my butt kicked handily. Came in dead last. I made some early mistakes in that game, and I could not catch up. But also, we continued our campaign of DorfRomantik, and
Hmm.
here we go with the coughing again. Sorry.
Oh boy, you were fine up until just now, I think.
It's I guess the doctor's like I got some kind of allergies, and it I don't get like the normal allergy issues that people get, like the watery eyes and the stuffed up. I get this weird cough, like nothing else, but it's this like dry cough that just comes and goes when it wants. So it is getting better, but it's been like over a month now, so it's annoying. Anyways, played some more DorfRomantik and with my gaming group from Wednesdays, and we actually had a guy who joined us this week who does not like co-op games. And he told me last night, we met last night for a gaming night, and he's like, "Hey, on Wednesday, bring that Dorf game again. That was fun."
Oh,
So
nice.
he's like, he finally was like, finally a co-op game that he likes. So we will be playing more of that on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And then last night I mentioned we got together, five of us got together, and I learned a new game. Someone brought this game called Abducktion, DUCK, with ducks. It's a brand new game, and when he pulled it out, I was like, because he's like, I got trekking the national parks and abduction,
Okay.
and I was like, whatever we play, it can't be something I like because I'm purging. I'm not buying anything anymore. Well, I bought Abduction. It's on the
Ah,
way. It's again, it's like it's a cute little game, but it's something that is very easy to teach. It's a quick game. It's going to attract people that maybe aren't gamers because of the way that the game plays with. And
yeah.
you should look it up, Rob. It's here I'll put a link in the chat in our little chat window there.
Yeah, I just searched for it.
Okay, but you can see those little ducks that you pull out of this. It's a bowl, but it's like a UFO. So I guess the thing is like it's only a 15-minute game and you're trying to match colors of ducks. And there's a UFO and there's
Hmm.
cards. So all these ducks are like in this UFO that you kind of pull out of the top. So it's kind of like a bowl with this lid on it, really. And you can shake all the ducks inside and you just randomly pull out 10 and put them on your little card in front of you, and everyone pulls out different ducks. And there's like pink, white, blue, yellow, and green, and the greens are wild. Um, but then you have everyone draws like three cards, and then on your turn you can play any of those three cards you want. And then there's like three cards out that are sitting out on the board that are basically what you're trying to do to score points. So the harder it is to align your ducks in certain patterns, the more points that you can get. But on your turn, you can only take only 1 point card at a time. Even if you can do two, you can only take what? So you're always going to want to go for the higher points. And then the cards in your hands will like allow you to take a duck out of someone else's board. And when a duck disappears from your board or someone else's, then all the ducks like shift. They all move downstream. And then they got to pull another one out from the UFO and randomly put it back on their board. So it readjusts the lineup all the time. So there's various different ways to that you're trying to score. So that and the cards let you like swap ducks in certain, if you've got certain conditions, you can move ducks on your board around. You can rotate around in different ways. Um, so it's a cute little game actually. It really is. And I liked it because it was light, it was quick, it was fun. It's cute, fun little game. So I did play that, and then we played.
Yeah, I was just looking at their website. They label it as a 15 to 25-minute light strategy game for adults.
I don't know why
There's there
I
isn't
mean
anything in there
adults.
that's like adults only, I
No,
would think. I I
no,
bet they I bet they do it because maybe those ducks are a choking hazard or something like that, or
could
they
be
don't.
they're small.
Yeah, or I know this was kind of like a thing, oh, man, like a while back, 10 years ago. It was talked about a bunch where some games would get like rated like 14 and above or 13 and above or something like that because you had to actually get the game tested or something like that to be sold for a younger audience.
Oh, could be.
So some companies wouldn't label it, like 8 and up because of that or something like that. I remember it was odd. But yeah, I don't see anything um in this that would make it
No, it
like
was
adultish or
exactly.
yeah.
That almost seems to negate the whole point. It's cute. It's a cute
Yeah.
family game, if anything. So,
And there is an
but
expansion for it.
yeah, and like I did, and he had it, so you can buy this game right now with the expansion. I just got it off Amazon.
Yeah.
It's like $50.
Yep.
So it's not a bad price and it's really good quality. The cards were really nice. The ducks are really nice. You want to talk about like a very nice like premium um what is it I'm trying to say? The ducks, the little meeple, the ducks, the we just talked
Yeah.
about,
Yeah, they look like little rubber ducks. Yeah.
but they're like not. They're like a very nice resin or very nice. I mean, high
So
quality,
so they're not squishy.
premium components. That's the word I was looking for.
Okay.
No, they're not. They're hard. But they are very nice. Like it's really quality. Everything
Yeah.
about that game was like it really impressed me. So
Yeah, they label it as 80 adorably 3D and high quality is what it
yes,
says. Comes with 80 plastic ducts and silicone storage.
yeah.
UFO.
So it's a fun game. It really was. I kind of wish we could have played it again, but
Hmm.
it would well, I'm sure we will. And of course I'm getting
Yeah.
it. It'll be here on Thursday. So but my kids will like this. My daughter she'll like it because of little ducks. They're cute. So
Oh,
but
they have a FAQ. What are the ducks made of? They're non-toxic acrylic. Still, don't put them in your mouth.
yeah. There you go.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
all
and
right.
I've never heard of that company. Very special games.
I'm very impressed with the game.
Yeah.
It like
Josh
I
and
said,
Levin.
it'll be something that like my mother will be able to play. She'll
Hmm.
enjoy it. It's there's nothing really hard about it except maybe looking at the cards, trying to figure out the pattern and how it relates to your card, and then the cards in your hand, how you can manipulate things. But it's not hard. None of it's hard, but um, it's yeah, it's a really cute, fun little game. So
Hmm.
and then the last game we played was Space Base, and I have never won this game. I don't think until last night.
Oh, okay.
Um,
You broke the
I was
trend.
I was so happy, and one of the guys that's there, well, two of the people that, well, one guy was new. The other three are very good, win a lot. Two of them are just very good at board games, just like the way their brain works, you know? I'm one of these, it's like, oh, I'll do this. And I get like on something and miss the bigger picture because I'm trying to do something and it's like I'll totally miss something else that would have netted me more points or something like that. Or it's just when there's a lot of variables and options, which Space Base does give you. Um, and, uh, and I know like the last time I played, like my daughter just kicked my butt. And I guess I forgot that the game ended when you had 40 victory points. And I didn't realize that. And she was going all for the Rockets and the points. And I was like just trying to get better cards. And next thing she's like, I win. I was like, what do you mean you win? She's like, I hit 40.
Yeah.
I was like, that doesn't end the game. She's like, yeah, it does. And I had to look at the
Uh-huh.
rules. I was like, oh yeah, it does.
Damn it.
I totally wasn't even like playing it correctly. So
Hmm.
last night I'm like, okay, gotta pay attention to these rockets. And as you're trying to build your cards. And I ended up with on my have you played Space Base before?
Oh, yeah. Hmm.
Okay. So on the number 7, I ended up that was like one I got to upgrade a couple of different times. So at one point, every time someone rolled a 7, which happened a lot yesterday, I got 10 gold coin or 10 monies.
Nice.
And that's a lot in this game. And it was like
Yeah.
every time every time it came to my turn, I had like even from the beginning, I was getting like a lots of monies to buy stuff. So I was just upgrading pretty quick. And then finally I was like, okay, I think I'm good enough that I'm gonna start going after those rockets. And I whooped everyone. So it was nice to finally win that game and in a competitive bunch. It was really nice.
Hmm.
So, but it
Very
was
cool.
fun game, and that was another one where it's like, why have I not played this game? This game is so much fun, and I really
Which one?
like it.
Space Base?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I like it. There, it has one of the similarities that it has with Planet Unknown that is that you're not waiting around. You're not waiting your turn. Like
Hmm.
Abduction, you are, when you're at your turn, you're taking your turn. Everyone's just kind of watching and they're waiting until it's their turn. Space Base and Planet Unknown. Those are games that no matter what, you are always playing. So even in space base, when someone else is rolling and taking their turn, you get to possibly gain points or get things based on their roll. So
Yeah.
you have a vested interest in what they're rolling, and it does. And it just I like that the game doesn't get stale because it's like I know once I looked at something, I was looking at my card or something, and all of a sudden I realized, oh, I missed a roll. I'm like, what did you roll? And then I had to like, as the next person had already started their roll. So it's like you can miss out if you're not, if you get sidetracked for anything. And it's a quick game. It's not like a person's turn really doesn't take but more than a minute. And that's it, because you roll, you're like, okay, here's my
Yeah.
roll. How am I going to use these two dice? And that's quick. And then it's like, what are you going to buy? Which card are you going to buy if you're buying from the marketplace? And that's where it might take them a few minutes. But even then, or not even a few minutes, it's not something that's like overly like hard. So the game moves quick, you know, at
Yeah.
a nice pace, and you're involved in everybody's role. So I really, really do like that about the game.
Hmm.
So, but
Yeah. It's
that's what I played this week.
okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, Space Base is um it's like one of those like really fun games that like I've always enjoyed. There's just something about it. I mean, I'm not gonna I was gonna say it's an AEG game. I have a fondness in my heart for AEG games for some reason, and this one definitely strikes a chord there. And they have like so many expansions for it too. Let me see.
Two of them.
No, there's a couple.
Well, there's one called the Command Center, but that's what that is it includes the two expansions, the base game, and it's like a storage solution for it
Oh
all.
yeah, the big
That's what
box.
he had. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got the base game and the two expansions, and I have yet to touch the expansions. Um, and I think and this reminded me of a conversation that I had with my group last night and someone on BGD today. So I'm going to talk about that later.
Okay.
So
Yeah, because there's what the Pluto one. Yeah, there's Biodome, Pluto. Okay, there's a command station. There's a Dreadnought pack. Next year, we're going to get Genesis, Mysteries of
okay.
Terra Proxima, and the Pluto one, which is the emergence of Shy Pluto.
So I have the Emergence of Shy Pluto and the Mysteries of Terra Proxima. Those are the two I'm aware of.
Hmm.
What is
So there's a Dreadnought pack,
Biodome?
which might be promo.
I think that's what the Biodome and the Dreadnoughts are. They're just card packs. There's also one that's a Dead Reckoning promo cards. Oh, looks like there's something called Genesis. Oh, that looks like an action. Oh, that's in 2024. You said. Okay,
Yeah,
so I think that's the third official one. Um, I think the others are just promo packs or card packs of some
yeah,
sort. Yeah, Dreadnought is a promo pack. And then what's Biodome?
yeah. It's like 20, 30 cards.
Micro expansion.
Yeah,
New ship
24
colonies.
colony,
Okay.
12 ship, 3 rules cards.
Okay. So I do not have those. So I have like the first two, the
Hmm.
so what did you get to play?
So I played the first thing. Only got like a couple games in. The first thing was Kingdom Builder. I was like, man, what is that game's name? I had the box in my head. I was visualizing it. Can't remember the name. Kingdom Builder. This is an oldie but a goodie. It was like, man, this won the Spiel des Jahres like 10 years ago. Let me see. I'm just curious now.
Well, that is 2011.
Yeah. But yeah, it won the big So wait, 20. Oh, it was the 2012 spiel. So yeah, 11 years ago it won the award. So it probably came out what, a year or two before, I'm guessing. But
Yeah, yeah, I think it said 2011.
yeah. So if people aren't familiar with this game, it's a game that's done by the same designer that did Dominion. So Dominion is like his runaway hit, and then I think this is probably the board game that he's best known for. He's done a bunch of stuff, but in terms of not card game and board game, this is his big one. And what it basically is you get these large tiles with these like little hexes on them, and they're like a countryside. There's like a little flower
A
terrain.
meadow.
Yeah, it was like flower. There's or flowers plural. Flowers. There's cavern. There's like mountains, I think, and
Looks like
fields, like
grain
grassy
and
grassy fields, or yeah. So it was a couple of different kinds
yeah.
of terrain, and what you get is there was something like 40 of your pieces of your color, and what you do is you play a card of a certain terrain, and then um, you have to build, I'll call it like a settlement, but connecting terrain if you can. Did I explain that well? So you play a card. So for example, all right, I play chasm, and then that's my first play. I have to put three pieces down, touching each other, and they have to be on the chasm. The next card that I play, whatever it has to touch one of my settlements if I can. Does that make sense? So it's like I
Okay.
have to grow my settlement if at all possible.
Okay.
And then you get these, we'll call them like achievement cards. So, for example, where you get extra points at the end of the game if, um, like, if you build like the longest or the biggest area in a quadrant, or if there's these horizontal rows of hexes um, that are the board, right? Where it's 20 rows high. That's the full game board. So you get points for every horizontal row that you're in. So there's these things that you're kind of like shooting for,
Okay.
and then inside each area there's these little castles and these little locations that give you like special powers. Like one of them lets you every turn play on, let's say, like a grassy area, or you can place uh, a settlement next to the edge of the map. So that kind of helps you like spread out, because you don't want to just be clustered. You want to connect the castles for points. There's various things that you're trying to accomplish. So all of these little, I call them power ups. They let you do that. So old school game, fairly simple. I hadn't played it in a while, and it's like, man, this is a good game. But yeah, when we played it, everybody enjoyed it, and so there was a reason actually why I brought this game. Oh, by the way, I won. Hey,
Yeah.
yay! But
Woohoo.
yeah, usually when I teach games, I lose. So this was, hey, and it was like, but this was one of those games too where it was like a win by like 1 or 2 points. It was extremely close. But I actually brought this game with a purpose, because I had a plan where recently Kingdom Builder had an anniversary edition that came out with upgraded components and stuff like that. So I'm like, I'm going to get that. So Now I had the old version, the OG version from back in what 2011, 2010 that I got, and then I had that anniversary. So I brought her over there, and then I said, "Hey, you guys like this game? All right, you can have it." So I offloaded the game. More room, more room on my shelves. But yeah, Kingdom Builder was awesome. And then I also got in a game of Flamecraft. So I know this is one that you had played a bunch, and it was a fun game. It was a fun game. Um, well, the one thing that kind of like was a little weird to me was just like I wound up doing that horrible thing of reading the rules while we were teaching, right? So it's
Oh,
like, so that can be kind of a slog. So
yeah.
going through the rules to teach everybody the game, it seemed like it took forever. But it's definitely one of those games where, once you know it, it's not bad. And then yeah, my buddy's kids, they just loved the dragons. They're like little cutesy, smiley uh, dragons in there. But the game was a lot of fun. Um, Man, I remember you mentioning the size of the board because it's that like little mouse pad neoprene
Yep.
roll up board. That game takes a lot of space, a lot of freaking space, and it's a little awkward on the table, but still, it's fine. It's kind of good, and it made me wonder a little bit because some of these games they have that like cushy, um, like neoprene-ish mat, like play mat, like Flamecraft, and I don't know if I like that.
Hmm.
It's just like it doesn't seem like some things like to stay. And I know on regular boards, it's not like they stay better.
Right. No, they don't.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just yeah, I do like the fact that things are easier to pick up. That I
Yes.
appreciate more.
Yep.
Because I was actually thinking about when I played Castles of Burgundy Special Edition, where I used the roll up board or the play mat on that one instead of the board, and that thing also was kind of annoying. But I'm sure it's a better experience than the board. I don't know. It's just something I was kind of wondering about. But
Yeah.
yeah, but I definitely enjoyed Flamecraft as well. So two solid thumbs up, good games.
Well, I posted a link in our chat. Lucky Duck Games does have pre-orders right now for the deluxe add-ons. I couldn't find these anywhere. I did get the wooden printed resources. I was able to get those somewhere, but they're kind of hard to find. I think I got them
Hmm.
from Meeple Source is where I got mine, but um, so that link there, you can get the dragon miniatures, which I don't have. I do have them pre-ordered, and you can get the metal coins. I have those pre-ordered, and then you can get all three of those two plus the wooden resources for like $75. So you can get all those add-ons, but they're on pre-order right now, direct from Lucky Duck.
Oh wow,
So if you want to invest in the upgraded components
yeah. Would you say $75?
for all of it, for the
Yeah.
metal coins, all the wooden resources,
Hmm.
and the resin dragons, which those are really cool.
Yeah.
They're nice.
Hmm. Or how about if you buy like some really scary looking, like D&D miniature dragons
You could.
shooting like flames out of its mouth, looking like it's ripping somebody apart or something.
They
K-
don't. they
It
don't
wouldn't fit.
they don't fit the narrative of like, this is a cutesy game. You can't
Yeah.
use like
Oh,
scary
very.
dragons.
Yeah. Plus, you would have to paint those,
Yeah,
which
and
would
these
make
are
it a
already painted the
challenge.
proper
Yeah.
color, so
Yeah.
so
That's one nice thing
don't
about.
argue, just hand them your credit card.
Yeah. No paintbrush necessary.
Exactly.
100%. Okay. So yeah, it sounds like a decent week for both of us.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm
Decent
glad to hear you
gameplay.
liked Flamecraft.
Yeah.
It because I feel like like yours and my game styles are pretty different. Like you like a lot of stuff, but I feel like you tend to go more towards like that kingdom builder. You seem to really like these hex shaped Euro games.
I
um,
so yeah, no, that's a good observation. Um I
where
would say
Flamecraft just is like a cutesy, almost maybe too lightweight for your taste. So I'm happy that you liked it.
oh, and it's not a light game, I don't think. I would say it's like medium
A
weight.
medium, yeah.
Yeah. And it's a little deceiving, I guess, when you see like the cutesy aspect of it. But I do gravitate towards a certain style of game, for sure, because you know, I would say like our tastes are the way that they are just because, well, I'm a little bit ahead of you, so
Oh
there's
yeah,
that, right?
just a little bit.
Yeah. So,
About
you
30
know,
years in front of me.
yeah, it's it it's just a matter of, we all go through a cycle, and there's probably a name for it, probably like a psychological name of the system that everybody goes through when they first get in the hobby, the massive acquisition, and then like you settle down on the things that you like. So I like I have a couple, I'll call them um, narrow categories or styles that I go after. So the game bonus if it's one player, but it's got to be minimum of two. Um, I rarely, if ever, we can almost say never, get like party games and stuff because I found that those just never get played and they take about valuable shelf space. And then, like, when I was first getting into the hobby, I mean, like the first two games that I bought were Dominion and Catan. And this was just like when Dominion had just come out. I don't even know
Uh-huh.
when that was, like 2007, 8, something like that. And, games were different back then. A lot of the
Yeah.
like highly sought games, they weren't even available in English. It's like, you'd have to order them. Like if you were lucky, you can get them on Amazon.de, but most of the time you had to buy them from one of the German stores and then just like pay exorbitant rates to have it come over to the US on DHL.
Yeah.
That's the board game shipping company. But um but yeah, it was like different times back then. So it's like I used to love Mayfair games or Mayfair Games's games. Lookout Games was another one, and and a lot of those they were like Euro, like Euro style
Yep.
games where it's just you know maybe pasted on theme. Don't care about that. That doesn't bother me. And just definitely not as produced, I'll say, as some of them. In fact, they had the term. I don't know if they still use it, but Ameritrash games.
Okay,
have you
I've
ever
heard
have you ever
that.
heard that? Yeah. So Ameritrash games are the ones with like the funky miniatures and this and that. And, people used to look at them as like the games of little substance.
Uh,
But Well, I know that's not the case with everything, but yeah, it's I do tend to gravitate towards certain styles, and I was even thinking about it. Maybe we can do like a show or like a topic on this in another show, not this one, but like like which game companies we enjoy and why, and which designers and stuff. That'd be cool to explore. 'Cause you've do you pay attention to who designs games, or do you just play them?
I just play them.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
haven't been in long enough to. I recognize some names now, but
yep,
I don't like look at a game based on who made it or who designed it.
yeah,
I'm not there yet.
yeah. Like once you start, you get to the point of where, like, I think you like certain companies, right? Like Simon, for example.
Simon,
That is their
Adam's
new,
Apple's games.
yeah.
Just
Hmm.
because I their one game, I think they got more than one game, but the
Yeah.
one I have is like my favorite.
Hmm.
So
So it's like, yeah, you just, as you get exposed to the stuff, man, it's a lot harder now too, because there's so many companies, so many games. Because what, 10 years ago at Gen Con, they'd have like 500 games that came out. And,
now
that
it's like
included
5,000.
expansions. Yeah, you know, now it's like approaching 1,000, and it's like just overload. But yeah, I do tend to go towards the harder stuff, and I do like Euro, and I am drawn to certain designers. So like my Stefan Feld and Kramer and Kiesling and some of these other ones that I enjoy. And then yeah, like today I sent you that picture, right? One
Hmm.
was Boone Lake. I picked that up today. And that's this is like a stupid satisfying thing. So this is a game that I've been wanting for a while because it was a game from Alexander Pfister. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
Yeah, he made, oh man, he made there's like a little card game from Lookout, and I cannot remember the name.
Hmm.
Oh My Goods. He made that. It's like, yes, I got it. He made Oh My Goods, which is a cool little card game. He made Port Royal that I talked about a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Fantastic card game. Love that. It's a press your luck, like piratey game. He made Broom Service, which is popular like 7, 8 years ago. Isle of Skye, another one really good, also available on Steam. Great Western Trail, that's probably one of his
I've heard of that
best
one.
known games. Yeah. Um, Tybor the Builder, another little card game. Maracaibo Cloud Age, this one came out a couple years ago. And Boone Lake's been around for a couple. It's been around for a couple years. That's a 2021 release, so 2 years. And recently there's been a couple new of the Great Western games. So it's, I mean, Great Western Trail games. But yeah, it's he's just one of those designers that I just like his stuff, and so yeah, I picked up Boone Lake. But one of the cool things, I don't know if you've ever had this. I think I know the answer. But
Mhm.
when you're at the game store and you pick up a game that you're interested in, and the box is freaking heavy,
Oh,
it's like, oh, there's a lot of stuff in here.
that's a um um I can't even well, I can't think tonight. It's a foreshadowing of what the price tag is going to be.
Well, yeah, yeah, that's true. Although this one, it wasn't bad because I got it at my favorite store, Gaming Goat. But yeah, it's like you somehow feel like when it's a heavy box that it's like you're getting something worth it. Because if you pay $50 and the thing's like super light, it's like, what the heck's in here?
Exactly, that's true.
Yeah, but it was like, and it's got nice components and stuff. So I'm looking for that one. But I also got one called oh They all have weird names. It's from Shoddy Torby. I got to look it up.
Huh.
And of course, BGG. It doesn't do the Google thing. Oh, it's like, 'cause it's like, how do you spell Shoddy Torby? I don't remember. And it's like, I was hoping that BGG would mean, oh, you mean this, because you can't spell. But yeah, it did not correct it for me. So Google saved the day. But oh, it's not in here. It's not in BGG. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, here it is. Yeah, it's a game called Siberian. So Shadi Torby is this designer that makes these little card games. The first one that he came out with was Onirim from 2010. This cool little game. Not a fan of the art at all. On it's like really weird, but the games are really cool. And there's like a whole slew of games in this series, starting with Onirim, and then not in any order. There's Urbion, Sylvian, Stellarian, Castellian, and then Siberian is the latest one. Oh man, this is like hot off the presses because BGG only has 6 ratings
Ooh.
on it. So yeah, yeah. Usually the ratings are like in the thousands. So, but it is a 2023 release. So this is one of the things I didn't even know. I didn't even see it. And then when I was up at the register paying for Boone Lake, I just saw it there staring at me,
Ah,
and I'm like, "Is that for sale? Wrap it
ah,
up." I don't
I'll
care how much
take
it
it.
costs. I don't care. Actually,
Yeah.
these games are usually pretty cheap because they're um, little card games. If and you can play these. Actually, I think pretty much all of them are solo. So they're challenging games. They're pretty fun. Um, only downside I would say to them in particular, it's like I'm looking at you when I'm shuffling sucks.
Ah,
Oh man, it just I just like I feel like maybe I'm just not a good shuffler. Maybe that's the thing. But yeah, so yeah, I picked it up as well. And I'm like, why did I start talking on this? Because I went off on a tangent.
oh yeah, you did.
But yeah, no stop, can't stop me now. But yeah, it's like these are the kinds of games that like I've been buying lately. It's just like I don't want more of the same unless it's a
Right.
favorite designer, and I want something like really different and not cutesy, kind of, if that makes sense. So it leads me towards games like this because most people would be like Siberian, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
This game is like if you look at this game, you'll be like, this is like an acid trip, you know. No, hard no, pass. But anyway, um, yeah, so I got those. But yeah, so yeah, I do get a little bit different. But I think you're gonna evolve. I think you're gonna evolve and you know, there's gonna be a point of where when you go to Target, or actually Target doesn't. Let's say like when you go to a store, right, that has a gaming section,
Yeah.
it's like there's nothing in there that's interesting to you just because it's all like introductory gateway games. And eventually you fall into okay, I'm not buying any more gateway games
Right.
to play with other people. I'm gonna buy games that I like.
Right.
Me, 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 me. But yeah. Anyway, I yapped too much on that. Let's reel me in. Reel me in, Mark. Reel me in.
All right, here we go. Time to reel you in. And
Okay.
that takes us to our topic of the night and back to the one of our topics, but when to purge. So I know I'm, and this seems like such an odd topic for me to bring up because I've really only been in this hobby for a year now. It's really only been a year, and my game collection has. I think I've spent more time buying games than I've played. I mean, I've played a lot in the last year, but I have kind of gone on a crazy spending spree. Um,
Hmm.
and I have currently have 329 games. I had
No
330 before the night
way.
started. 329, but it was 330, but I took one out because I'm giving it away tomorrow because it's one I bought, I never played, and that's Horizons of Spirit Island. And
Oh,
I
okay.
played Spirit Island on my game group. One of the guys there, it's his favorite game. And I was like, I didn't like it at all. And I'm just like, okay. Then I saw this version is kind of like the big box store introductory version, the gateway game, right? To Spirit Island. It's supposed to be the easy version. And I bought it and I was like, well, maybe I can play this and try to figure it out. But then I hadn't done that yet, but I had gone to another game night and there was two tables going. So our table finished and I went and sat down at the other table and they were playing Spirit Island. Okay, I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit here and watch and try to learn. And I just came to the conclusion like I don't like this game. I really don't like it. And I'm like, why did I buy this game? Like cuz it was one of those like, even like that one I just played yesterday, Abduction,
Yeah.
it's cute. It's got really neat components. Like they're really nice. And I liked that. And I'm like, oh, I know I got my family members will play it, but I got so many games that my family members will play. So like, why did I buy this? You know, it's like at some point I gotta stop buying stuff. And and now it's like, okay, now I'm looking at these shelves. I keep buying shelves. I've had to move into cabinets, looking about maybe moving stuff up to other rooms because I'm out of shelf space here. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm not playing that much. And when I'm going to my game nights, I'm usually hauling the same couple of games. And because trying to learn something new and then trying to teach it is really hard
Oh,
unless you've
yeah.
played it a few times. So I'm like, I think I need to start purging some stuff. And because I got so much stuff that I have not played. And I've got stuff I bought a year ago and I haven't played it yet. And it's like, okay, if I haven't played it and I'm it's not something that like there's things I love. Like I love Zombicide and I don't get play it that often, but it's one I love and my Deep Rock and Thunder Alley, Thunder Road, what's it called? Thunder Road
Yeah.
Vendetta. Um, you
I
know,
think
uh
Thunder Alley is a GMT game, isn't it?
Could be. I think I'm thinking of a book called Thunder Alley, you know. But and I bought Everdale. Never played. I played it once and it was just like I tried to learn it again. Like it's one of those I'm gonna have to go through a couple times. But it's
Hmm.
like I don't think I'll ever play it. It just seems it's one of those I can't seem to wrap my head around. There's a you know, and it's probably super easy, but for some reason the first time I went through it, there's like I get the worker placement, but then it's like you've got these cards and some game mechanics where you're trying to build on things and it gets a little in depth or maybe a little more complicated than I'm quite ready to dive into. And I think some of the games I've got are like I bought the Castles of Burgundy special edition for some reason.
Mm.
I played it one time and it's like it's your favorite game and you're my best friend. It's like, "Oh, I got to get this." And I enjoyed it, but I remember being really tired when we played.
Yeah.
That was the last day of Gen Con um and I was tired, but it's like you talk it up so much and I did enjoy, but it's like I look at it now and it's like, "Oh my gosh, this is overwhelming. There's too much there." It's like I don't so I am going to put a request in February that we play that when I come out to see
Hmm.
you. Um as I do
Or
want to learn that.
or heck, I'll one up you. If you got time after the show, we can play it online. We don't have to play full game. How about that? And then then maybe you'll see why, or you'll either list the game tomorrow for sale.
Yeah.
One of the two.
I'll take it in with me. Anybody want this?
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm sitting here and I've got like games sitting on my couch and on the floor, and it's like I'll take stuff and then it's like, "Oh, I don't want to put them back away," and it just becomes this like cycle. It's like, okay, I just need to. So, how do
It's
you know when it's the right time to purge some
acquisition
things?
disorder. Yeah. Well, so some people are. So here's my thoughts on it. So some people are very good at, being, I'll call it like responsible. Like they'll have rules for like if I get a game, I have to get rid of a game. But getting rid of a
Oof.
game is a huge pain in the butt. I think it's like
Yeah.
if you know I don't have the patience to like list the game for sale and look through it. Is everything in there? And then, go through the whole process, exchange money, and then, go and, you know, drop it in the post office, get a box to put
Oh,
the box in and packing materials. That's like a lot of work. And I know I know people do it, but, it's especially if it's an older game. Okay, it's one thing if it's a game that's prized and you're going to get a bunch of money for it. But, for a game that you bought, 2 years ago that was $30, uh, you know, it'll cost me more to ship it than it's worth, or that I can maybe get for it. So it's a tough thing to do unless you're really good about doing it all the time and you got some system down.
yeah.
Um, but in terms of when, I mean, when you exceed your shelf space by at least 50%, you might want to think about it then. I mean, I
uh,
I probably have exceeded my shelf space probably 200 times over 200 times over 200% over.
yep.
So I've got some sizable stacks and games in the corners and stuff. And there are some games because I went through a bunch of stuff and it was like looking at it, and I went through a phase where if a game was on sale, I did not care what it was. If it was a $10 game on Amazon, I got it. It's like I got a $10 game that was
Yeah.
once $50. But why is it $10? Because nobody wants it.
Right.
That's why. So now you have a game that you got for real cheap that you're probably never going to play. And when you do, it might be a disappointment. And those are the games that are easiest to get rid of. Now, you can also combine games, right? You can put an expansion in the main box. So that's a win in terms of
There
shelf
you
space.
go.
We can call that a purge.
Yeah.
Purge the box, keep the game.
Oh, you can't do that. That just seems so wrong.
Purge the expansion box or cut it down or do something. But no, it's like so like seriously though, it's like, when is the time to purge? It's different for everybody, but it's easy to let your collection just get out of control size wise.
Yeah.
And that's probably when you should realistically start thinking about it and then look at like what characteristics of your collection are important to you. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm a
What
fan
what
of.
am I gonna play? Like, and that's the thing, even if you're a fan of it, if you're never gonna get it played for whatever reason, then is it worth it to have it?
Maybe, because I think in some ways we also do we also do like the collection. game
Yeah.
collector hobby.
Uh-huh.
So
I think it's
like,
a big part of it.
yeah, like I said, there's certain games that I have a fondness for. Like Castles of Burgundy. It's there's no way I'm getting rid of that game. Like even the original that I have, it's
Right.
like I won't get rid of the original. I'm going to keep both the special edition and the original because the original has I'm fond of it. It just it's special to me. Played it a lot of times. I've got some special stuff in there and expansions and all. It's like yeah, I'm not getting rid of it. Um, Other games, you know, I care less about. Right? Those are easier to
Yeah.
get rid of. And I've heard one thing once where uh, people can maintain like stacks. That's an easy way. It's sort of like you have, let's say, like this shelf or this area. This has got like the games that you really enjoy. And then there's other ones that are like, okay, but you keep them for one reason or another. And then you got others that are like on the brink. Like you would have, you know, Spirit Island in that section
Yeah.
or something that you just like really don't care for. And those are the ones that you should punt. But the thing too is I firmly believe if you punt games, if you get rid of them, you purge them, then you do that like immediately. Don't wait. Because especially if it's a hot new game and you don't like it, get rid of it right away.
It'll be worth more if you can sell it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna probably have to make a list. I think maybe this weekend I'm gonna go through the shelves and make some decisions here.
Yeah. hmm
It needs to happen.
So, I mean, what are you thinking of doing? Like to sell them, like listing them on BGG or?
No, well, the game store I go to on Wednesdays, they actually do consignment, so I can put stuff there and up for sale, and they'll sell it for me. I mean, they'll get a percentage. I don't know how much, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask them about it tomorrow while I'm
Oh, that's
there.
cool.
So, because I've
And
actually bought a lot of things over there on that shelf, because I've there's stuff in there that's been sealed. Like there, in
oh yeah.
fact, there was something I'm trying to remember what it was. I saw something last week, and it was still shrink wrapped. It was a huge game, and and then as I was walking through the store, I actually saw the same thing on the shelf, and I'm like, "Gee whiz!" Like and you can get it cheaper over on the other shelves on that consignment area. So
hmm
I have picked up a lot of stuff over there that's still shrink wrap. I don't think I've bought anything. Yeah, I have. I think I bought one or two things that were not shrink wrap, but they were really a good price, and everything turned out to be in the game. So,
hmm Yeah, I have a store by me. Um, I don't know if I've talked about it much, but twice a year they have an auction, and I've never participated in it. There's like a spring and a fall auction, I think.
oh yeah,
But you go in and then they auction off the game, and then I want to say like you get a store credit or something like that. So the game store facilitates the purge. But what's crazy is there's like some ancient games, like
ah,
some because it's people like getting rid of their collection for whatever reason, or parts of it, and like
right,
there's hardcore gamers that have stuff from like the 80s and 90s, and so like you see some like
right.
really really old stuff, and it's not even like new at all. But yeah, that's interesting. That's yeah, in addition to you selling yourself, you can leverage the game stores, and then you could also just give it away.
Well, I'm doing that tomorrow with the Horizon
Yeah.
one because he has every Spirit Island game except this one, and he said this one has different spirits, and he's contemplated because he doesn't need this. This is like a entry level, but he's like, he mentioned it before. He's contemplated buying it because he just wants the spirits
Hmm.
to add to his collection. He's got every other one. So I saw him last night and I was like, "You going to be there Wednesday?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I said, "I'm going to bring that for you." And I said, "You can just have it." I said, "I'm never going to play it." And he's like, "Oh, okay, cool." So,
Hmm.
you know, but other stuff I wouldn't. I tried to give away challengers and I couldn't give that one away.
Oh, really?
I brought it back home.
Oh.
So I'm tempted to just throw it on on their shelf down there because they have like a like a lending library, not a lending library, but down in the gameplay area downstairs in the bar gameplay area, they have games on the shelf. You can just grab a game and go play it.
Hmm.
So I might I'll probably take that one in with me and just say I want to donate this, or that one I might be able to sell in the consignment area too. So
It's a award winner, right?
it is.
So there's that people will be interested in.
Somebody might want it.
Hmm.
So, but so I'll find out. I'm gonna ask tomorrow about that, and then that'll give me an idea of how their consignment thing works. Maybe it is just store credit, but hey, store credit's still store credit. That's something. It's not like I'm not going to spend money there.
Yeah, exactly.
So
So if you start purging some of your games, do you think are you gonna like institute like I can't buy a new game until I get rid of a game or something like that, or
no,
one in, one has to go?
no, I don't think I'll do that. Um, but I'm at that point where it's like, okay, I'm done on Kickstarter. Like I can't do any more of that. Like some of the stuff that's going to come in, I'm like, God, why did I buy this?
Yeah.
There's stuff I do not want that's coming. Um, and then the last two I did, I really, really want, and they were very, very expensive. And
Yeah.
it's like, I'm done. I need to.
Hmm.
I've got some things that I really like, and kind of like you said, you like you like different games, and it's like I've got so much stuff. It's like I got all these different versions of Azul. I only play the base game, which kind of leads me into the next thing.
Yeah, we can jump to that.
Expansions. That's another part of this whole purging. It's you buy a game and you really like it, and then they come out with a bunch of expansions, and it's like I have to have those. That's that like collector in me. It's like I have to have all of it if I like it.
Yeah, completionist kind of thing. Yeah.
And so we were talking last night when the guy pulled out Space Base, and he's like he only played one of the expansions. He didn't really like it, and we were talking about that, and I said, I feel like expansions really are not worth it because unless it's a game you play a lot and you really love, then yeah, if you've got a group that you're always playing, then that would make sense. But if you are, just like a tabletop gamer like myself that plays all kinds of things and has a bunch of stuff, when I pull a game out that has expansions, a lot of the majority of the time, I'm teaching new people.
Right.
So you don't throw expansions in. You
Yeah, you
usually
don't want the
play the base
complexity.
game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. You want to just teach the base game. And a lot um a lot of the times the other guys were like, yeah, maybe the expansion doesn't really enhance the gameplay or it just doesn't seem to make it any better. And they tend not to it just seems like the majority of the group was like, yeah, I really don't need expansions.
Yeah.
And I saw someone on BGG today was asking about that, and I made a comment in there. I'm like, we were just talking about this last night, and I said because he was like, should I buy some expansions to these things I like, or should I buy something new? And I said kind of the same thing. Like if you are always playing with different people, or you play a lot of things and you don't get to that game you love a lot, how often are you playing with the expansions that you already have? If you're not, then I'd say save the money and buy a new game and have a new experience,
Hmm.
you know, because a lot of the time the base game's fine.
Yeah. Oh
Like
yeah.
Like, it kills me how many Ticket to Ride games there are out there. We I've got the original, Europe, Rails and Sails. And then I bought, for some dumb reason, that San Francisco small box one, which I hate. I think it's
Oh yeah.
terrible.
Hmm.
But there's a million different, okay, there's not a million, but there is like probably 30 different Ticket to Ride games. And it's like, they're all basically the same with a few variations. If you like the game, you probably just like the base game. Well, Rails and Sails we like, and that one I don't regret getting because it's bigger and it adds ships and stuff. So,
Yeah.
but like
And that
we
new
don't,
one seems interesting, right? That what legacy one or legacies or I forget what it's
yeah,
called,
but yeah, it's a legacy game. But again,
but
the
it's not.
problem I see
Oh
with the
yeah,
legacy games is that you need to have a group that you can keep playing.
true, true.
That's the problem with those campaign slash legacy style games. Just like the DorfRomantik I got. We're continuing we're continuing to expand on it. Like, we've played a total of 7 times and we keep unlocking stuff every time. Um, Almost every time.
Is
So
it
you're
not the same
adding new
people?
elements into the game. But like, we added a new guy in the other day and he was like on game 8 or something of our, we and some of the people that were there at the beginning weren't there last Wednesday. But we're just carrying it along, because it's too hard to get the exact same people, unless you have like, hey, we're like my Gloomhaven group. It's 4 of us. That's all we play. We meet at a certain day and time. Kind of like, if you were playing a D&D game, those campaign games or legacy games are a lot like a D&D. You got to be committed for a while. And it is
Mhm.
hard to find people to do that for something like a board game campaign, I think. At least it's been my experience.
Yeah.
So, um, that's why I'm like, I really haven't looked much into the Ticket to Ride because I'm like, we might play one or two. I've got a couple other games that are like that. Like, I got a Potter Battle of Hogwarts. I think
Oh
we're
yeah.
only halfway through that. That's like 7 or 8 different things you keep adding and completing and unlocking the next box. And like, we haven't even gotten all the way through that, you know, and that's
Hmm.
with my kids. Well, now 2 of them are gone to school, so it makes it harder. But even when we were here, it's like we were always playing something new. So those campaign games get a little tough as well.
Hmm.
So again, had I realized what Dorf Romantic was in the beginning, I like it. I really do. It is a fun game played in the campaign style, and I'm glad I got a group that likes it. And we are working our way through and playing it. So, but it's also one that type of game that it is tough. You just got to kind of bring it every once in a while and hope you have the right people. Like, yeah, I get a couple people that want to play it, and we'll just keep going. And they don't care. They're not like the diehards that are like, oh, we need to start over because I wasn't here in game 1. Like, no, this is game 8. You can jump in and join us if you'd like.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, and the guy did last week, and he asked me last night, hey, can you bring that back? I want to play it again. So I'm like, cool. But, again, these are people that show up on Mondays and Wednesdays to play board games almost every week. So when you have a group like that, then it makes it easier to do those things.
Hmm.
But again, had I known that it was going to be something like that, see, when I got it, I didn't realize it. I thought it was more of a one off. Because we had a really bad instructor at Gen Con. She didn't really know the game
Okay.
and
Yeah,
she was
that
trying to teach it
happens.
to us. Had I known more, I probably would have not gotten it. I don't regret it because I'm having fun and I got a group that's playing it. But again, it's once I've gone all the way through it, I'll probably will never pick it up again,
Hmm.
you know? And that's what I kind of think about some of these campaigns or these legacy style games are you take so long enough time to get through it. Are you going to really go through it again? And if you're not, why keep it on the shelf? And again, if it's a Ticket to Ride, it's still, I guess it's not an expansion, that one not per se. That one's not a necessarily an expansion,
It's close.
but but it's still in that arena. Do you buy yet another Ticket to Ride game? I you know,
So no, that brings up a good question, and one I'll say like collection rule that some people have is there are games that are similar, right? I'm not even
yeah,
talking like necessarily with Ticket to Ride specifically, but like I'm just picking this out of thin air. So like there's Azul, and let's say there's another Azul game or a game very similar to Azul, maybe not Azul, right, but very similar. So
Lusa. Lusa comes out.
yeah, so you have this experience across multiple games now, and it's like when you have that, it's like you keep only one, right? One of
Right.
that style because you choose like which is the best one and you go with it because technically that's what we probably wind up doing like when we choose games to play, right?
Yeah.
If we have, let's say, like a pick up and deliver game with a particular setting, we'll choose the one that we like the best, and then the ones that are kind of like copies, like the Me Too's
Uh-huh.
that are very similar, it's like, why would we, play those when
Right.
we like that original one? At least that's how I am.
You played the best, why try the rest, right?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
or
why would
it's
I
or
play Lusa if I've already played Azul and it's great?
yeah, and the
You
thing
know.
is, it's not even that the games are bad, but we just don't have the time. It's
And
like,
yeah, and if it's not differentiating enough from something you already have or like, yeah, what yeah, and you're gonna go, oh, I want to play Azul like game, and you've got five different ones to choose from. Like, how often are you gonna play those?
right,
Just have the one,
yeah,
and then don't spend the money on the other four. And there's four other new types of games you could buy
yeah, sure,
and might enjoy. And I'm getting better because things like Seven Wonders Architects, I bought that after playing it with the group, really enjoyed it, and I've taught my mother and my
it's
aunt
worth
that
it.
was here.
You're getting mileage
They
out of
really
it.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I've played it. I've played it many times already, and it's like this is a great game. And then I went and looked at the original Seven Wonders, and
Hmm.
was looking at it, and I was watching it being played on YouTube, and I was like, you know what? I don't need this because it was one of those like, ooh, I love this. I better get all of Seven Wonders.
Right.
That's a lot.
Oh yeah.
And
Hmm.
and then I was looking at it, I was like, you know what? I don't really think I'd enjoy the original game. I really like Architects. It's
Because
a lot of fun. It's
and
simple. It's
yeah.
quick. It you know, I like a lot. I really do like, I think, shorter games. Um some longer ones I don't mind as long as you are engaged and you're not sitting there for a long time doing nothing. Though that can get a little long in the tooth, which is like a game like Lords of Waterdeep. I probably is best at 4. I've got the expansions. We've played 6 people, but it just gets to be a little long before your turn comes around. Um, and it's like, yeah, we need to stick with 4, you know. Clank can be that way when you have the expansion to get 6 people in there. Only
Hmm.
not as bad.
Yeah.
But because you kind of already know where you're going to go typically by the time your turn comes around. But you know, I don't know how people can play these games that go on. Like now, granted, I do play Gloomhaven, but it's rough on me because we've had a couple times now we play on Saturdays, which I really hate because now it's like everyone feels like, well, we can stay as long as we want because it's Saturday. I don't want to sit and play for 6 hours. And we've had like two times in a row we were there for 5.5 to 6 hours. And I'm just like, I'm burned out.
Yeah. You get burned out. Yeah.
I can't sit here and play this game that long. Like, If it takes us 2 hours to do one mission, then I'm good. I'll see you next week. But to sit here and do two missions for 5.5 to 6 hours, I'm like, I'm getting. I don't. We haven't played for a while. I'm kind of thinking our group might be falling apart. Um, which would be honestly would be fine by me. I've played enough to know that okay, I don't foresee me getting through this whole thing, and I can love it or leave it. Right? It doesn't. Well, I'm not gonna love. I don't love the game. It's okay, but it's not like
You
this
enjoy
great
it,
huge thing. It just
right?
doesn't.
Yeah,
I more enjoy being around the group
yeah.
and the people and but they're all really good at it and I'm still new and I you know but there's moments I have fun with it, but for the most part I'm like along for the ride.
Okay.
And it's just like, I would not be sad if we quit. But I'm also someone that like I will stick with it because I said I would do this.
Yeah.
So,
No, no, I
but
get it.
if
Yeah.
people start to bail, I'll be like, I'm out.
No, it's
I'll be number
it's
two to quit.
right because part of the experience is is the social aspect of it. So it's
Yeah.
also just like the game is there. I mean, it's a primary factor, but social aspect, the interaction, and
Yeah. Like I've got Jaws of the Lion. I bought that before really knowing how big it was. And that'll be one I would purge. I played one mission of it. Kids didn't like it. I
yeah,
did, but I was running it. And now I'm just sitting here kind of off to the side, which is like, well, why do you like Jaws of the Lion, but not this one? Well, it's not that I don't. It's just that they're all running everything. And I'm not really involved except for my character moving.
right.
So, and there's so many moving parts. I really don't want to be involved.
Hmm.
It's a lot bigger than Jaws of the Lion. I think Jaws of the Lion got to streamline some things, but um, and I don't know. I've only played the first mission, so it maybe it gets just crazy big, like the Gloomhaven does. But I mean, that's something that's like I will probably never play that. I don't see ever playing it,
Hmm.
because even if we get through Gloomhaven, I'm thinking like, okay, let's do Frosthaven. I think I'm good. I no, I don't want to play either one of them. I'll be like, I've had enough of this experience.
Yeah,
So why keep it? Why take up shelf space?
yeah. I
So
was when I was at that game store today and picking up Boone Lake. There's a bunch of people there. And they were just starting Frosthaven, and it's just like,
oof.
hmm.
Have you seen the price tag of that box?
No, I didn't even look at it.
My store has it. $280.
Holy smokes!
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, and it's one of those boxes you're like, oh man, I need a forklift to get this out of here.
Hmm.
I mean, it's a big box
Yeah.
and it's
Oh yeah.
heavy,
Yep. Yep.
but it's also a heavy price tag. So,
Hmm.
but I'm not going to fault anyone for that. I paid a lot more for my um, dice X-Men dice throne and everything under the sun, plus the Deep Rock expansions and all that. That I'm you know between those two, I could have bought lots of Frosthaven copies, several.
Yeah.
So probably at least 3 copies of Frosthaven. So it's not that it's a big price tag, but it's got to be again to expand or not to expand. You know, is Frosthaven worth it? I because even if you got through it just one time, is it worth that almost $300 price tag? That's just like, crazy to me. Now, again, the money I'm spending on those other two games I just mentioned, that's one of those that I absolutely love them. I got to have them. That's the collector part. And it's like, even if I didn't play them, I don't care. And I know there's probably people that love, like, I'm getting Frosthaven because I love Gloom. I love the others. And, whether they finished them or not, they played parts. And again, it's like one of those things that if it's worth it to you, then by all means do it. But if you're not going to play it, then or you don't know if you're going to get to play it, then therein lies the rub. And that's where I'm trying to, like, okay, I got some games. I maybe just need to get rid of the expansions, just keep the base, um, or just get rid of games and their expansions that I'm just not going to play. Um, Again, it all comes back to, you know, purge or not.
Oh boy.
So I don't know. I'm going through a phase, Rob, and it seems too early. That's the thing. I've only been at this a year, and I'm already looking to purge. I think I expanded too fast. That's the problem. I jumped into the deep end of the pool. I did not start out in the kiddie pool here. I jumped
Yeah.
into the deep end. Now I'm
Yeah.
working my way back to the 6 foot part of middle of the pool here, going, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So I might be purging a little early, but I think it's necessary. So
Yeah. And like one other thing I wanted to mention, as I was thinking about this while we were talking, was, you know, there's standard expansions, right? And then there's add-ons, which it's like, are they expansions? Are they not expansions? They're sometimes, so there's add-ons which are like components,
right.
right? Which is one thing.
That's
Because
all. I'm all in on that.
yeah, and then there's other add-ons which are it's almost like this is stuff that didn't fit in the box. so,
Yeah.
so we are like putting it in a separate box and you can buy it at the same time, but it's not really an expansion. Because when I was at the game store today, um, they had Dark Tower and they had a couple boxes. There was like Merchants of the Dark Road was another one. They had a whole bunch of boxes. Everdale, maybe that. I don't remember the name of the game. It's not Everdell. It's very similar to it. It was another game that they had like 3, 4 boxes to it, and
Okay.
it's like that's another one. It's like, is that stuff even worth it? And I find myself now, unless it's a game that I'm really, really, really into, it's like all those extras don't interest me anymore. I'm fine with just getting the original game. It's like
Right.
it, it's like there's sometimes, like, let's say on a Kickstarter with like some game that came out, and it's like, let's say $30, and for like another $10, 5, $10, you can get an expansion. It's like, then I might get that, especially if it's got something extra that makes it like more interesting. But you know like getting, I'm trying to think of a game that had like a whole bunch of expansions. I'll use Dominion, right? This card game. It's been out for like 15 years now, almost, if not more. And the base game is pretty good by itself. Do you get an enhanced experience with all the add-on stuff that you get from like the dozen different expansions that it has? Like, no. And in fact,
No.
so what you so one interesting thing about Dominion in particular is that they have expansions, and I mean, some can be played on their own, and then others can be mixed with the base game. And what you wind up getting sometimes is almost like a broken game, where the synergies between the cards aren't there because you don't have all the stuff mixed together, if that makes sense. Like, there might be 3 different types of cards that are in this expansion that work well together, and they're made to work together, but you only have one of them, so it's almost like a useless card when you're playing it in the base game. because you don't have those others. But it is a different experience, right? If you are looking for that, like always an evolving experience, I guess there is that benefit to it. But but yeah, it's like it can this thing can lead into expansions and add-ons, and it's like just it's almost like I feel you're better off just getting the base game, and if it's really special and worth it, then get the other stuff. Yeah, it might be harder to get. Yeah, it might be more expensive, but more often than not, I bet we won't get them, if you know what I mean. We'll just play the
Yep.
base game and it'll be fine.
Yep. Exactly.
And a comment that I wanted to make about Seven Wonders was, so there was an evolution to that game that got it to architects. There's like original, we'll call that like architect, I'm sorry, Seven Wonders 1.0. And then, they came out with the other add-ons, and there's like the duel that just came out not too long ago. When I say not too long
Right.
ago, it's probably 5 years ago. But so when you jump into a game later on in the series, going backwards is sometimes hard because they added stuff and the game evolved to get to where you like it, and there might be stuff that's lacking going backwards. So
Yeah.
so that builds the case for not necessarily like jumping um into the old ones,
Right.
into the OG ones, unless it's Castles of Burgundy, then totally worth it. But actually, there haven't been really. I mean, there's been board expansions, but there haven't been like huge. Actually, no. There's the dice game and a card game. Is there a dice game? There's definitely a card game with these cards that are minuscule, and I can't freaking read them. But anyway, I think I'm tangenting again and running off with this. It's one of those days. Rein me back in, yeah.
Getting you back
This
in.
is this is
So
like the Gong Show hook, if anybody remembers that, where it's like,
I
oh,
might have to keep that in there. No.
yeah,
Um yeah, it's yeah, we're at an hour and a half, so it's probably
yeah,
a good time to
okay,
wrap up. But
yeah, sounds good.
I I mean I've covered everything I think I wanted to say on
Okay,
both of those,
oh, absolutely,
even though
same
they're kind
here.
of the same. But I'll update y'all next on the next episode after I find out what the thing is at the store about reselling, and if that's truly a consignment or if it's just them selling you stuff. I gotta verify, but I'll see. I'll find out, and if I get some stuff sold that way, I'll report back
Hmm.
in 2 weeks. So, and I'll maybe report what I got rid of. I'll make a list of what I purge. So,
Nice. So cool. All right, so I guess that's it for episode 60, the Diamond edition of uh, of this board game life. I'm Rob, one of your fine hosts here. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you all in 2 weeks.
and I'm Mark. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you at the table.